the end all be all. It shows interest. It shows that, hey, somebody's willing to sit down and talk with you. If they say, oh, come back later, I'll sit down and talk with you, that's not going to be a sale. That's not going to be anything. When you go ring the doorbell again, the next time they're not going to answer. So your job day in and day out is to bag a bill. The more bills you bag, the more welcome calls you get. The more welcome calls you get, the more installs you get. The more installs you get, the more money you get, and the more opportunities you have for taking care of your family. So let's dive in. Before I start, I just want to give a shout out to a couple people. I want to give a big shout out to my man Mo out here in Boston. Eamon crushing it, Shiv on the leaderboard, and my man Sean Louisu. Big shout out to you, bro. You told me you're gonna drop a 50 spot. I only see 22. You got a long way to go. So let's go out there and make it happen. All right, let's go. Let's go. And this is how you really bag a bill. Let's start with the first one. And I think that this is the most essential part of direct sales. Guys, image is everything. It's the end all be all. If you look good, you feel good, you sell good. Look at these studs over here on the right. You got my man Jeff Selnicker, the number two installer in the entire company. Ashley Legrasso, she's a top 20 installer in the entire company, league tour champ. And that's my brother. A little training day with him. Him polo shirt, tucked into the joggers with some fresh dunks on and a sunrun cap. Just looking the part. I think it's extremely important to look good in the field because unfortunately, image is everything in sales, especially when you're doing door to door. If you're ringing somebody's doorbell randomly in the middle of the day and you look like poop, right? Likelihood of them letting you in the house is very slim. But homeowners will basically judge you on the way you look. So I think there's some things to that. Obviously, want to get a haircut, right? Make sure your beard is trimmed up and groomed. I mean, you guys, the top reps that are making good money, every time that they come into the office, they probably look fresh, dapper. It doesn't hurt to get a nice pair of Nikes, right? If you're walking in some old 2-year field shoes with holes in them, people are probably not going to let you walk into their house with some beat up shoes. But if you got some Krispies on, maybe throw some Krispies on every couple weeks, put some money aside to invest in some clothes. I can't stand it when people come into work with their clothes not ironed. That is all like just part of a customer's going to look at you and say, yeah, this person really doesn't take care of themselves, right? Put on some cologne. Hey, ladies, a little bit of makeup goes a long way, right? All of these things are just big factors in just getting some actual traction in the field and be able to talk to somebody. If you look like crap, they're probably just going to look out the window and not answer the door. But if you look put together, like these three people in this picture, you don't have to wear a full suit and tie in the field, but at least look presentable, clothes fitted, groomed up. That stuff goes a very long way. So the first thing to bag a bill is your image has to be on point. It has to be, you know, put together, or else you're not going to get the time of day. So that's one. Let's get into number two, right? The second part of it is spot knocking. So the way I work, and this is kind of, you know, this is like everybody has opinions on spot knocking and just parking and knocking. I do both. But I always start at the first half of the day. I'm out in the field by the latest two, maybe three, depending on if I got a welcome call or not. But usually 2 o'clock is when I start my day. And I am driving around like a rampant, raging lunatic looking for people. That's all I'm doing. Anybody that's trained with me, you're smiling right now and you're laughing because I am a psychopath in the field. I prospect like my life depends on it. This is just a picture of my hood, right? So I like literally will crush a Red Bull, crush a coffee, maybe a couple espressos, and then I'm just driving around like a lunatic, pitching everybody in sight. A door open, get out, pitch the door. Hey, person walking their cat. Hey, lady, pitching her, right? A mailman. I'm pitching, the FedEx guy. I mean, you took no a living, breathing human that owns a home, they can get solar. That's how I look at it. So prospecting is key. But there's also you got to prospect smart. We're looking for houses with look. If you look at this block, I mean, no trees all on that right side, dead south facing where the sun hits the roof. Lots of roof space, simple roofs, long sprawling roofs, no vents, no dormers or different roof planes and arrays. You want long, wide roof planes that get tons of sun. That's the money. Sun hours matter. So when you're prospecting and looking at homes, you want to make sure that you get the dead south sites as well as make sure that you have long sprawling roofs so you can put as many panels on that bad boy as possible. More panels on that roof equals more commission for you and better rate for the customer if they got good sun hours. One thing I do a lot, I'll just pull up right in the driveway. Hashtag pull up. I park right in front of their home, in their driveway. I make it seem like I'm here to talk to this person specifically. So when I get out of my Tessie, I go to the ring the doorbell or knock on the door. I say, "Hey, Mrs. Johnson, how's life? How we doing?" Right? Literally, anybody that knows me, I'm just hitting them with the "How you doing?" Right? Because guys, when you use a name and you you smile, you have enthusiasm. I'll shake a hand. Right? I'm pulling up there. My car's in the driveway running. They're looking at me like, who the hell is this guy? Why is this guy at my house? And then I'm here to just to break down what's going on with the utility grid and energy and how it's affecting you. I also think that spot knocking is extremely efficient. The key and the name of the game, Jeff Selnicker says this all the time. It's not about how you pitch, it's just about interactions. It's about getting in front of people and getting your pitch out. Rule of thumb, like the average is for one person to get an AC in Sunrun for door to door, one person you got to get 7 pitches out fully to get one AC. So two ACs usually equals a welcome call. So if you know that I got to hit 14 people to get a sale, that's what you got to do. So when you're spot knocking throughout the early part of the day when people are probably working and not home, you can hit the people that have an open door. I call it the open door policy. I see the door, I pull up, I pitch. Um, Anybody that's outside, active, breathing bodies, I'm pitching them, right? I'm just trying to get into as many interactions as possible. And I don't think that just parking my car and walking around my neighborhood at the early part of the day is going to get me there, right? I'd rather just be super efficient. I'll take people out and I'll hit more doors in 2 hours spot knocking than these people see an entire week because I just work like a psychopath. I know what's on the line. I know what's at stake. I know the numbers I need to put up. I know the income I want to make. And I'm not making that kind of money if I'm not just busting my ass and spot knocking like a psychopath. So that's like the one is image, two is spot knocking, and I think those things kind of really get you going, get you started, get the blood going throughout the day. All right, the next slide too is guys, I want you to understand something. Every territory in this entire country that has solar availability has been pitched. Um, it's not it's solar's not a secret. People are like, oh, solar. Oh, I didn't know about. Everybody knows about solar. Your neighborhood's been pitched by 200,000 solar people. You're not the only one. Okay. So I think for new people, when you start this job, the key is to really being able to handle early objections will really get you through the sales pitch to get into more interactions to get you through the process. So I got 3 points on how to really handle early objections, right? Um, and the early objection was, oh, solar, nah, I'm not interested. Oh, solar, no, I'm good. Nah, solar, I'm okay. So you can go a couple ways with this. Number one, you can either try to acknowledge it and move on. Nah, solar, I'm good. Not totally understand. I get it. But let me tell you what's actually happening with the utility grid. Acknowledge and just act like they never said it and just keep pitching, right? If you ever heard of the 3 F's, it's feel, felt, found. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm not interested in solar. No, trust me. I understand how you feel. Believe me, a lot of your neighbors actually have felt that way. But what we had found out is by speaking with me and being able to educate you on this program, they actually are actually interested in looking at the solar because they didn't understand the benefits, right? So feel them out, feel them, feel, felt, down, feel them, felt, down. 3 R's: read, relate, relax. If somebody's coming off hot, like you knock on that door, like, yeah, what do you want? Like you gotta kind of give it back to them. I work in Staten Island. I work in North Jersey. I mean, you can imagine the type of personalities I deal with. I get a bunch of Anthony Monacos at the door, right? So I'm not gonna door like, hey, what do you want? I'm like, oh, whoa, relax. Let me explain to you what's going on. Like you gotta read them, you gotta relate to them, and you gotta relax them, right? If it's like an older lady, my tone is different. Hello, how are you? Hi, ma'am. How are you? My name is Nicholas. How's everything? Listen, I'm just letting you know what's going on. You got to just read the situation. You cannot pitch every single home the same. So, first point in dealing with early objections, nah, I'm not interested, is just acknowledge it. Not totally get it, but let me explain to you what's going on with the utility grid. I'm just out here doing my job. Acknowledge and move on. Number two, you come up with the point of educating people. I find that a lot of people try to pitch customers. You just want to relay information and educate people on what's going on. So I'm not going to door say, hey, my name is Nick. I'm with Sunrun. I'm just here to explain what's going on with the utility grid. Have you seen this notice? Boom. This is from our market, the BPUs, the Bureau of Public Utilities. They just approved rate hikes all across the state. Boston, National Grid. I know you guys have pamphlets and things that you can show customers of, hey, like what's going on with utility grids and rate increases, right? You can point to like, what's happening with tariffs and, with energy coming in from Canada. There's a plethora of things that you guys can use to show customers, hey, in my market, in my area, this is how your utilities are being affected, and just put something in their hand. Like I'll literally have that shout out to Zach. He made me get the iPad mini because it's actually a really great knocking tool. I leave my cell phone in the car and I just pitch with the mini iPad. So when I pull up my BPU, like, yeah, I'm here explaining what's going on with the utility grid. Have you seen this notice? And I just put it in their hand. So it gives them something to play with. It's like a magic trick. It's like abracadabra. Here's something to look at, and now you got them. Now you got them out the door. You got them looking at something, and then that's half the battle, just gauging the interest, right? I'm not here to gauge any interest. I'm just here to relay information and tell you what's going on with the utility grid. So I'm being super indifferent when I'm just educating people on the grid and getting them to buy into my concept. So I'm like, have you noticed the utility rates have gone up? I start nodding my head. That's called Sullivan's nod theory. When you start getting, nodding your head, getting them in the mode of shaking their head and saying yes, and then just start saying, yes, you're the homeowner. You live at 222 Main Street. You've noticed your electric bill's gone up, right? Okay. And then I just get them in the mode of just nodding and saying, yes, it's a true theory that actually works. So one is acknowledge and move on. Two is just educate them, put something in their hand to show them something physical about what's going on with, your market, your utility grid, things like that. The next one is the Nikki juice. This is what I do, right? I don't got time for the BS, right? I just go to number three. I assume an objection and I take control. So go on to the next slide. So when I'm knocking on the door, this is exactly how my pitch goes. Hey, how you doing? How's everything? Oh, that's a beautiful dress you have on. Oh, where'd you get that from? You got that from Versace or you got that from Louis V? Okay. Now I just try to like build a little icebreaker. But hey, my name is Nick. I work with Sunrun. It's in regards to solar. Like I get right into it. My name is Nick. I'm from Sunrun. It's in regards to solar. I don't sugarcoat it. Oh, is this solar? That's kind of not really. No, dude, this is solar. This is why I'm here. I'm here to talk to you about solar. So, hi, my name is Nick. I work with Sunrun. It's in regards to solar. It shows on my notes you had spoke to somebody about solar before. It shows that the issues was maybe a pricing concern. You didn't think it was cost effective for you. Is that accurate? So I already assume that they've been talked to. I'm telling them right off the bat it's about solar, and I'm already giving them an objection that anticipate the reasons why they didn't do it. Because obviously, if they looked into it, it makes sense. People do solar. It's the initial of like they probably looked into it at some point and it didn't make sense. So I throw out the objection. So it showed you weren't interested because of some sort of pricing concern. It didn't seem like it was cost effective. Is that accurate? You'll get one of two things here. You'll get no, it's boom, and then they give you the real objection. It's my roof. Oh, I can't afford it. Oh, I didn't qualify via credit. Um, one of those things, and then you can overcome the objection as it goes. Like if they say, "Oh yeah, it's a roof," yeah, I totally get it. Yeah, I wouldn't do solar on my house if you couldn't get a roof, but let me ask you this: if there was a program where the state would fund the cost of you getting a new roof in order to go solar, would that make sense? Would you look at something like that? And they'd be like, well, yeah. I mean, if I didn't have to pay for it, all right, cool. Let me show you what's going on, and then I get into like what's wrong with the grid and explain how solar works, right? Um, Sometimes people are jerks, the a holes, right? Like they'll just be like, nah, I'm just not interested. Nah, no, I'm just not interested. I'm just good. Like I'm just not interested. Then I'm not wasting my time with that person. You have to have a tough skin in solar and in door to door. Not everyone's going to say yes. 90% is no. So I'm not going to exert my energy turning a hard no into a yes. If you're good, then I'm good. Like, all right, I'm not going to waste my time trying to turn you into letting hear what I got to say because you're obviously ignorant. You don't understand why solar is going to be beneficial. You just don't. You're closed minded. I'm not going to waste my energy and efforts on somebody who's not going to give me the time of day. So if they insist on I'm not interested, I'll take about two or three no's and keep it moving. But if they give me no, I'm just not interested. Then sometimes I'll go into another objection that I've been seeing in my area. So like, no, hey, it's about solar. It looks at the pricing concerns. Have you looked into it? No, no, I'm just not interested. Okay, yeah, so it's not a pricing concern. Yeah, some of your neighbors have said that people have tried to sell them on like a purchase or a finance or something like that. Is that accurate? No, I'm just not interested. Okay, well, so it looks like the roof might have been the concern. Like no, I'm just not interested. Okay, is it like I'm just going through every possible objection to finally find one that hits, and then I can overcome that. But just sometimes some people are real jerks, man, and you just can't turn everybody. That's why you got to hit, so many doors to get one quality sale is because, most people are just like, no, I'm not interested without even knowing what's going on. So, this is what I do. I think this really works for me and my personality. I just get to the point. People don't got time to waste. Where in my market, in New Jersey, if the light turns green, they honk to go. I'm like, dude, the light just turned green. I couldn't move my foot from the brake to the gas quick enough. So I just get to the point. I'm just like, let's go because I want to get into as many interactions as possible. All right. So let's get into conversations versus sales is the next one. Now, this is the biggest hiccup in everybody. I kind of said this before, but everybody tries to pitch solar. That's why you're not successful. If you're out here pitching solar, slinging a product, you're not going to get any business, right? Your job is just to have a conversation about what's going on with the utility grid. Breaking down the problem of energy is all you need to do. You need to be able to explain energy to a fifth grader. Like you literally need to just break this down as simple, layman, simple terms. We're dealing with average middle class working Americans, right? So the more you try to be articulate and say, well, this will be at no cost to you versus like, yeah, you don't got to pay anything to do solar. Like the difference in the tonality and the way you say things matter. One's more conversational, one sounds like a salesman, right? So all you're here to do in the problem part of your sales pitch to bag a bill is to have a conversation about energy. The key for you guys on this call is to understand what's wrong with energy. So if you're going home and you're playing on TikTok or you're flipping through Instagram or you're going out to the bar at night, instead of doing those things, if you're on your phone already, why are you not looking up videos on what's going on with energy grids in your market? What how solar is a benefit to people. The more well versed and well rounded and knowledgeable that you know about this, the easier it's to talk about. The master of your craft and explaining what's going on with utilities will get you farther along in a conversational basis versus pitching solar. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So my goal here is to be conversational and explain what's going on with the grid. I'll show them these photos on the right. I mean, these are real grids. This is what they're paying for. The reasons why utility rates have gone up is because the grid is older. We have to maintenance the infrastructure. The more people are using energy than ever before within the last 5 years. There's more electric cars on the road. AI is starting to become a thing. More people are working from home. So more people are putting more stress on the grid because everybody's using more energy and it's costing more money to maintenance this. That's why you're paying more. You're pretty sure, Mr. Customer, you've noticed over the last few years your electric bill's gone up, right? Exactly. This is part of that. The other thing is too is in our state we don't generate enough power in state. A lot of our energy comes from other states like Pennsylvania, Ohio. We literally get energy as far as Canada. So if you ever looked at your electric bill, you get two charges. One's a delivery, one's a supply. The supply charge is what the bill's actually supposed to be. The delivery fee is what you're paying to bring an electric in from out of state. This is a one-liner. Write it down, hit it. What's happening with electricity is like you buying $120 on Amazon and spending $80 to deliver it here. Like, why would anybody do that? Like, think about that concept. Like, everybody buys Amazon, everybody buys something. So you buy $100 item on Amazon and you spend $80 to bring it here. Like, that don't make sense. Why am I spending $180 on the same product when you can do solar and pay less than 100 for solar all in? Like, why would anybody do the grid? And then the biggest thing is you just want to talk about like utility rates. Your rates going up X% in your local utility. Like right now in Jersey, our utility rates are going up 17 to 20% this year, which is crazy. I know in New York it's going up like 11%. Massachusetts, these bills going up. Florida, literally like over the last 2 years has gone up exponentially, something crazy like 40 something percent. So like drive that point home to people and just explain what's going on because then you're going to start building impulse and getting people to be interested. Like, yeah, I didn't realize that. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what that fee's for. And then you're really kind of tying it all in and explain, hey, this is what's going on with the grid. This is what's happening. And this is how it affects you. The best salespeople pitch off emotion. They don't pitch off of features, right? Like if you're trying to say, oh, well, we have the best this, we have the best that. They don't give a shit. They care about like, well, how is it going to affect me personally? And hey, your bill's going to go up X%. It's not going to stop. It's you're on a sinking ship. You're on the Titanic, and it's just a matter of time before you cannot afford to pay the light bill. And then what happens if you can't pay the light bill? You have no light. You need light. You need energy for your home. You need to be able to have the AC on in the summer for your kids. Sell on emotion and issues of what's happening with the grid and how it's going to affect them. You'll be so much better off. They'll be like, what do I got to do before you even started selling solar? They're like, oh my God, so what do we do? That's how you know you're pitching it right. All right. Use the Amazon thing. I swear to God, it works. Next is the solution. The solution to solar. Guys, don't simple terms, simple terms. The easiest way I can explain solar to you, it'll replace your existing electric bill at a fixed rate cheaper. Guys, go on to the next slide. That it's super simple, cheaper energy, right? Speak in simple terms. The reasons why it's cheaper is your energy comes from a free source to the sun. You're not going to pay a fee to have the sun come up every day, right? So that's why your electric bill's cheaper, is because you're getting your energy from a free source. That's why your bill's less. Oh, that makes sense. Right, exactly. Right now, there's tax incentives that go into this program. So it's a state-funded program, a government-funded program. There's tax dollars that do pay for solar. So if you were to finance a project, you would get tax incentives. The reasons why the solar doesn't cost them anything is because our company fronts the cost for them to go solar, so we get the tax credits. That's how it's doesn't cost them anything, right? But if you're walking around in your hood and saying, "Hey, yeah, man, solar's free. You don't got to pay. It's free." People are like, "The hell out of here! It's free. Ain't nothing free in this world." I'd rather shift and be like, "I bet you guys come around and tell you that it's free, right? Yeah, there ain't no such thing as free lunches, right?" Yeah, that's what I said. Now I'm on their side. Now they're going to listen to everything I got to say, because now I'm like calling out the BS that bad solar sales reps and other solar companies are selling, getting these knockers going out there selling free solar to set an appointment. We're going out here and we're explaining the real stuff, right? Uh, I also talk about, this is different than a purchase and a financing. When solar first came out, you had to finance a project or purchase solar. Not too many people were adapting to solar then. So now they've came out with this program where you don't actually have to pay anything to go solar. If the home qualifies, you can actually go solar and you don't have to pay anything for it. It'll just replace the light bill at a fixed rate cheaper. We're just really to see if you actually qualify for this program. And I also touch on net metering, guys. In certain markets, they actually pay you for net metering, or they'll put a credit on the bill. Net metering is good, man, and that's like kind of how you really tie it all in, how your bill stays the same year round. Because in the spring months, the solar system is going to produce more energy than you use, and then in the winter months, it's going to produce less. So the months where you banked more credits will get you through the winter months and offset the bill in the wintertime. So when people ask dumb questions like, "Well, what happens at night?" I just explained that, but you got to reiterate it again. But I pitched this to people like this. I was like, listen, net metering is a great tool. This is the best part about solar. Is like, think about, remember when growing up, our parents were like, "Hey, you got to shut off lights to save money on the light bill." Well, now it's like, well, let's shut off lights to make money off the light bill. And that's a paradigm shift now. That's another one line you can use in your repertoire, right? It's just giving them alternative ways to think about how this can benefit them. And there's no negativity. There's nothing that is negative about solar. The only thing that you could possibly point out is how long the process takes to get to install. Other than that, if you qualify, it's an absolute 1,000,000% no brainer, right? And you just got to pitch it with confidence, like you know what you're talking about, because customers will feel the fakeness on you. Don't be somebody that you're not. I suggest you be super enthusiastic and energetic and outgoing. If you're a Sean Louise out there in the field, be that. Be dapping people up, put your hand on their back, high five people, play football with the kids in the front lawn, all types of crazy stuff. That's my personality. I'm real rah rah. But then you got the Jeff Selnickers of the world and the Joel Perez's that are mad laid back, more reserved, but they still do the same job. So they just use what's in their strength. You would never see Jeff Selnick knock on the door and say, "Hey, what's up, man?" High fiving customers. That ain't him. He's being true to him. And customers will feel that unauthentic sales pitch when you're at the door. Be who you are. Don't be something that you're not. Um, so now we broke down the solution, right, of solar and why it's a benefit. Every step of the way, you're building impulse, you're building impulse, you're building impulse. Then we get into the next slide, which is the qualify and the transition. This is a mastery. This is the key to success. You are a pest on the steps. You're a guest in the crib, right? If you don't get invited in, the likelihood of you getting back to a sit after that is probably a coin flip. But if you're in the home and you get the bill and look at the circuit breaker box, the likelihood of you getting back in front of that person again and sitting down and doing the welcome call is extremely likely. I'd say 85 to 90% chance better than if you were in the house the first time and then versus getting the bill at the door, right? So, all right. So if you're pitching it right, they should ask you, how do I qualify? All right. Well, there's three qualifying factors for you to be able to get solar. Number one is the roof. That is the biggest concern on our end, because if your roof doesn't qualify, we can't do solar. So, how old's your roof? 5, 6 years old. Okay, sounds good. No leaks or nothing like that. All right, cool. I checked that off the box. What about your electrical? Any power outages? Lights flickering? If you run too many appliances, like you got the blow dryer and the microwave going? Do you get any outages? Circuits go out? Anything like that? No, I don't know. That sounds good. Okay. Do you know how many amps your circuit breaker has? Do you know? Do you have the yeah, do you have any spaces? Do you know? I don't really know. All right, cool. I'll check that in a second. I'm planting the seed to check back in a second. Now the electric bill. On average, how much does the bill run you? About $200-300 a month. Okay, it's up there. 200's too much to pay for electric. How many kilowatts do you use a year? I have no idea. Yeah, I'd be utterly shocked if you knew that answer. Okay, cool. So I'm checking out. I'm making sure the roof is good, electrical, and then I need to get the bill, right? So your goal is to try to make this exclusive. Not everybody can get solar. And it's a fact, like not everybody can get solar. If your roof is shot, we might not be able to cover it in the budget. If your roof and your electrical shot, we definitely can't cover it in the budget. If your roof is shot, you got bad credit, you can't do it, right? There are many factors, but we're prospecting properly to know. So we're just letting customers know, like, hey, not everybody get it. The reasons why not everybody has it is because not everybody qualifies. The roof doesn't have enough space, the roof is shot, they have bad credit, they don't pay the bills on time, things like that. We can't give it to everybody. The state won't fund it for everybody, right? So, so I hit on the roof. I talk about the electrical. I plant the seed to go back, and then I just tell them here. All right, so here's the game plan. This is the line I do to transit. All right, so here's the game plan. I need to take a look at that breaker box to see if the home qualifies. We don't know how many amps or any circuits, so I'll take a look at that. Do you care if I keep my shoes on, or do you want me to take them off? And I just start walking in the house. It's that simple. Like, be assertive, but not aggressive, if that makes sense. Like you can explain, like, hey, listen, this is what we're gonna do. Hey, listen, here's the game plan. I'm quarterbacking this thing, right? You're just letting them know what you want to do without being like aggressive and telling them, like, hey, Larry, I'm going in to look at the circuit breaker. Like, all right, here's the game plan. I'm gonna take a look at that circuit breaker. I'm gonna see if it makes sense for your home. Let's see if you qualify. Do you care if I leave my shoes on, or do you want me to take them off? They're like, yeah, you can leave them on. All right, come on in. And then the second I'm in home, I'm talking about things. Oh, wait, these are your kids? Oh, how old are they? Oh, that's the best thing that you guys can do is the second you get in the door, just talk about something else. Talk about the kids, if there's a trophy, if they just made dinner, whatever. Talk about something to get them talking and liking you. The key to sales is that you want customers to walk away from a conversation from you and feel like, wow, I really like that guy. Yeah, that girl's really cool. The way you do that is by getting them to talk about things that they're passionate about: kids, hobbies, their employment, family, anything like that. Like, let them talk about the things. Oh, yeah, your kid's always in Little League. What position? Oh, yeah, you have the games on the weekend. Oh, cool. Oh, he scored last week. What about the other one? Oh, she's in ballet. How does she like that? And just let them talk about themselves. Right. And then they will walk away from that conversation like, yeah, I can't wait to meet that guy again. I can't wait to see what's going on with this solar thing. Right. That's the soup and nuts of it, man, is like getting in the house and then just kicking it. I told Monaco this, he knows this, everybody. Half of my business is referrals. Every other day, I'm texting Cam Catmull, got another one, because I built such good rapport with my customers that they want to give me business because they like me. I hook them up, I make sure they qualify for solar, I give them a good deal, and then they're more likely to give me more business. So to initially bag a bill, you got to go look at that circuit breaker. And this is a picture of my trainee Chris. Big shout out to Chris. We were texting last night. And first door we hit with the first day of training, we got we got the bill. We got into the breaker box. And it's just getting in the home and starting that process is all you really need to do. And then the rest is gravy after that. Because when you're in house, all right, cool. Let me go bag that bill real quick. Yeah, why don't you pull up that bill for me? It's in the bill pile. I'll start looking through the bill pile. I'm like, oh God, I found it. And I go, oh yeah, I guess it was there the whole time. If you try to do that at the door, they're gonna be like, I don't know where it's at. Like, all of you know that that's how it is. I don't know where it's at. But if I'm in the house, I'm going through the bill pile. I'm going, oh, it looks like it's right there, right? And I start rummaging through their own house, pulling up the bills. I'm like, all right, cool. So it looks like the circuit breaker's good. I'll take a picture of it. It looks like the amp's good, but I'm not the one that makes that final decision. All right, I got to see how much kilowatts you use. If you don't use enough kilowatts, the state won't fund this program. You do the bill online, you said. All right, real quick, just log in for me, pull up the bill. Let me take a look at that, and I'll see if it makes sense. I'll show you some things on the bill that you need to worry about, and then I'll just take control, and they'll do it. And if they don't know how to log in, I suggest that you learn how to log into your local utility company's online billing. Right? Sometimes you can call. They'll send you the bill. You got to do some qualifying questions. You can reset the password. Get with your market leader on how to do that. I guarantee all your market leaders know how to get into an online bill pay situation and pull up the bill online if the customer doesn't know how. If you don't know how, ask your market leader. All right, so now I'm in home, I'm qualifying them and all of that. The last thing I want to leave you guys with is the same day close versus appointment. Okay. Um, go to the next slide. So there's pros and cons to both, right? If I'm spinning and it's going well, I'm going. The key of like the pros on the same day closes, you're closing at the height of impulse. Like they're super excited, interested, impulsed about what's going on. They're in the moment. I mean, I just go till they tell you to stop, right? Like, all right, cool. I'm gonna pull up this bill. I'm gonna create the lead, blah blah blah, blah, and I start building rapport. If the design comes back clean, easy, I don't got to do nothing. I might just roll with it. I might just go right in. All right, let's set this up. Let's go over it. I'm explaining you the process. The main goal of today just to schedule a survey, and then we'll see what's what. Um, if you do this right and you dangle the carrot every step of the way, they're eager to come back and sit down with you for the cap. So instead of the appointment being the second sit down, the cap would be the second sit down on the same day close, right? So if you do it right, yeah, you can dangle the carrot. Um, it is a more efficient sales approach because time equals money. Like, I see so many people in a day. I had 5 appointments yesterday. I was driving all over God's green earth, closing deals. And, I didn't have time to set up a same day. I mean, set up an appointment to go back. So if I'm just closing a deal that same day, that's one less thing I got to worry about. Now I just got to go back to close the cap. So there are a lot of pros to the same day close. But I'll give you a prime example. I never really do this. Personally, I never really do the same day close. And I did it a lot this quarter. And my conversions are ass, like straight butt cheeks. Okay. They're really bad because I did about 30 welcome calls this quarter and I got about 11 caps. That's not good. That's like 30 something percent, like 32, 33% conversions. That's not really good. So for me, in my person, maybe the way I do it, I do explain a lot. So the same day, it gives you more likelihood of them canceling. For new reps, absolutely not out of the question. I do not recommend it for new reps. If you're here like less than 6 months, set up the appointment to go back. There's so much information that you're giving them. And the way I sell solar is like I go over the agreement pretty in depth. I explain everything. I make sure they understand everything. When I do the verification call, it all ties it all in. So I feel like if I hit them with all too much information, all at once, they're like, wait, what did I just sign up for? What did I just do? And that's just me. I know a lot of you guys do one stops and you're successful with it. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm just saying, like, there's pros and cons to both. Um, and sometimes some of the cons too, guys, is that like it doesn't give you time to get the best possible design. Like, sometimes is when I'm creating a lead, I'm like, damn, I got to remove this tree. But I know if I just play with this design, I could fit these panels a certain way. And sometimes you guys all know when you're sending all the info to site modeling and try to get designs. It's like even out setbacks, do this, do that. It could be like a little bit of a hassle, and like you're just not going to get the best viable design within that 15-20 minute sit down process to try to get the design going while you're in the home. So to each his own. I'm just a firm believer in like, I want them to see me as many times as possible because if I get them on the AC, I'm in the house high five and I'm talking about the family getting the bill. I bag that. I go back, I set the welcome call VC appointment. I close that. And then I go back and I close the cap. So they see me 3 times prior to install. So every step of the way, they're liking me more. All right, Nick was cool. Yo, I freaking love this kid, Nick. Yeah, I can't wait to see Nick again. That's the gameplay. That's like how I roll. That's how I operate. And then guess what happens at cap? Hey, Mr. Customer, you got to know somebody else that wants to go solar, right? Your aunt, your cousin, your brother, your neighbor, somebody that might be able to want to take advantage of this program. Why don't you pull up your phone, shoot a couple texts real quick, and see who may qualify? I'll give you $1,000 a referral. There's no cap on that. If you give me 5 people, that's 5 grand. Once you give me 2 people, I put you on payroll, and they always laugh at that line. So that's a kind of like what I got, man. I think the more times you're back in front of them, the better. The more they like you. If there's a hiccup down the way, they're more likely to roll with it. But that's how you bag a bill every step of the way, guys. Don't shoot yourself short. Hustle. Okay. It's all work ethic. What you put into this job is 1,000,000% of what you get out. If you ain't out there hustling, you ain't out there making money. It's a legal hustle. That's how I look at solar. Over and out.
Hey, thank you, Nikki. Some great nuggets. Love the energy, love the fire. And I don't know, I don't know how to play my music, but I'm saying just throw it in the bag.